Okay, welcome everyone. It is the regular city council meeting for Monday, July 12th, 2021. Call the meeting to order, and if we could all stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Yeah, roll call. Listen.
Rich Peterson,
Hello.
JT Thompson.
Yes.
Matt Peterson is going to be a little late, and I received notices from Matt Girardi and Adam Ryder that they will be absent tonight.
Okay, number 4, approval of agenda. Do we have any questions or
Can we even
comments?
approve it?
Can't approve.
We can't approve it, can we?
Can't move it.
Shoot. Okay. Do you want to move down to
Public concerns?
Joe and Nicole.
7? Okay. Okay.
Hi.
That was quick.
Yeah, I told you.
This is Joe and Nicole Christensen from the council.
Nice to meet
Not
you.
aware. And they are the ones who are going to be moving into the old clerk's office and starting up the coffee shop. So,
Thank you.
I'll let you guys
Yeah,
give me
we just kind of wanted to come and say thank you for approving it, first of all. We're really excited to be setting up shop. It's a new business, so we've never done this before, so we're excited to bring this to the community. I mean, I love coffee, and I've always wanted like a little cafe that's quiet to work or read a book or, hang out with some friends and, just enjoy a cup of coffee or a slice of pie or, just grab a sandwich or something, or even on your way to work. So I'm really excited to bring this to Preston, and we're not in there yet. The city has to paint and patch the walls and things like that for us before we get moved in, but I am hoping September we will be open.
Perfect.
So yeah, is there any questions I can answer for you?
Are you guys needing anything from us besides just the painting and the stuff like that? I know we talked about like a wash bay and stuff in there.
Yes, Joe
As
is.
long as you guys trust me to do the plumbing, which I can definitely do the plumbing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really all that we're gonna have to do,
Okay.
so I don't think there's gonna even need to be any electrical or anything down there. If there is, I'll
Okay.
touch base with you definitely.
Yeah, let us know and
Mhm.
let Teresa know.
Yeah.
When you guys.
And we'll have inspections and things coming up, but
Right.
I've already spoke with Teresa about those, so when they get scheduled, I will let her know, and we're pretty good about communicating. I told her she's gonna get sick of me probably. But
Never.
never. But yes, I'm pretty open. If I have questions, I just call her, so.
Yep, awesome.
Yeah.
That's perfect, so.
So what are your hours gonna be?
Well, I'm planning on opening at 6, and then staying open till about 2. We're just gonna try it out and see how it works. If people want us, if they're saying maybe open earlier or stay open later, we're just gonna kind of go by what the community tells us. But that's my plan for right now. I do have 2 little boys. I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, so that gets kind of tricky in the mornings with school and things. But we will be open to hiring maybe an employee or something to help out if that is the case. If it needs to be open a little bit earlier or stay open a little bit later. So that's my plan for right now. But like I said, we'll play it by ear.
So what, obviously it's coffee, but you said sandwiches and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we're gonna do coffee like your just regular black coffee. I'm getting my beans from Marina Street in Butte. I don't know if you've ever heard of that company. They roast their own coffee beans and have different flavors and things like that. And then I will make lattes and cappuccinos, things like that.
Yes.
I plan on doing some energy drinks, cold sandwiches. I'm not planning on having a stove or anything to cook at the shop, and then some pastries, donuts, things like that.
Maybe some soup.
Yes, soup,
And
But
whatever, yeah.
that's probably the extent of it. I mean, I hope.
Brett's Firehouse Coffee in Comanche. Put that stand up by the old roller rink.
Oh, okay.
And he took off, and now he's got a stand in DeWitt now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I hope
It
that.
seems to be a pretty
The new Starbucks, right here. Right in Reston.
Right.
Right.
All right, you guys have any more questions for them? or-
No, just good luck, and
Right, well, thank you.
Yeah,
if you need anything
absolutely.
from the city, let us know, we'll try to
Yep.
work with you.
Absolutely, thank you.
So it's a pilot program, so we want to see you guys be successful.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep, that's what we're here for,
I
so.
appreciate that.
Yep, we're excited to have you guys in there and
Yep.
look forward to it, so.
Yes.
Awesome.
And best of luck to you, sir.
Yes. As long as I don't have to put different on
You're
the
just
coffee,
nurturing,
I'll be
you're just,
alright.
you're just nurturing her dream, and you're doing a real good job.
Alrighty, sounds good.
All right,
Well,
thanks,
thank you guys, thanks for coming in. and
Yeah,
chatting.
Yes, thank
absolutely.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
We'll be in touch.
Yes.
Okay, we will move on then, we'll probably move down to Nick then too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll scoot over so I'm not right behind you.
Oh, you're okay.
Oh, if you wanna sit up with
You
Mark,
can
go
sit
ahead.
up here if you like.
I'm more comfortable.
Hi Nick, welcome. Welcome
Thank you.
back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sorry for the confusion from last meeting.
Oh, no problem.
We're all shifting back from all virtual meetings.
Right.
So, it's us. Slow clap.
I'm early.
You are.
From what I said I was gonna be.
You are.
You're just in time for Nick.
Hi, Nick.
How you doing?
Sorry for being late and interrupting.
Oh, you're all right. You're all right. I was just saying thanks for the time. You know, again, like the last time I gave you guys an update, trying to do this more frequently now. So starting out, we can come down in person, make sure that our office is being responsive to you guys, but also to let you know what we're working on, because we're moving in some more areas we've worked on before, but in new ways. And so what I really wanted to talk about today was focus on one of those sort of new focuses or renewed focuses of our office. And it comes out of a lot of our outreach over the past year with businesses throughout the county. Mostly our larger employers, though there's some carryover to some of our Main Street shops as well. And that's really the focus on workforce. I'm sure if you go into any city in the Midwest right now, probably across the nation, you're seeing a lot of help wanted signs. And that's across the line from service sector places, looking for waiters and waitresses, all the way to your skilled positions in manufacturing and technology positions. So this is, it's not dissimilar to what we were seeing before the pandemic. But I think what we're seeing now is it's kind of an opportunity for us to kind of reflect on, for a business, for what they value in their employees, and looking again at their wages and benefits and how employment is structured. So that's things like if you're able to, offering flexible shift options, if you're able to, offering some remote work options, because a lot of businesses learned over the last year that, well, heck, some of the stuff we can do outside of the office. And if that's a benefit to the employee, that's pretty cheap for the business to offer that as an additional benefit to keep them employed there. So we've partnered with ISU, their CIRIS, their Center for Industrial Research and Services, to first kind of lay the groundwork for us, take the lay of the workforce land. And that's really diving into the workforce data that is available. They have some access to some proprietary data information, more than what we can get from, say, Iowa Workforce Development, to really take a look at who's employed in the county, whether they live in the county or not, so employed at a business here in Jackson County, as well as where our residents are employed. So that captures some of that in-commute for jobs and out-commute for jobs. From that, and diving deeper into that, saying, okay, so what are the demographics, let's say, of the people who are leaving the county for positions? Even deeper, what job types are they leaving the county for their work to do? And is there an opportunity for businesses that offer that same job type to really direct their opportunities to that person, and communities themselves, the county itself, can do to help grow our labor force. And as I said, you know, we're hearing this from employers. I've heard this for a long time, whether it be skilled and unskilled positions. They're looking for people, which is great, which means that businesses are healthy because they're looking to hire. One of the things that was concerning over the last year is, if I look at the numbers of our available labor force, so those are people either on unemployment or actively employed, that number dropped from, let's say, December of 2019 to April 2021, which is the last time we got data from the state, that it dropped 600 to 700 people. It's the largest drop in available workers in Jackson County in the last 6 years. The highest drop there previously would have been closer to 300 persons in a year over year. Because when I initially saw that, I'm like, well, what does that mean? You know, we have an older population. Is that retirements? Certainly, some of those people were retirements. Over COVID, we saw a lot of people go into retirement early, big buyout, whether it be at a school or something along those lines. So that definitely is a part of it. But there are other reasons. And I think one of the anecdotes when we've reached out to HACAP, we used to be Operation New View. They work with a lot of people who are either getting social services or looking for work. What they heard was you had these two family member or two parent households who were working. School shut down. So what do? They don't have child care services, as many of the centers shut down, and in-home places have already been full for years now. So you have less opportunity there. One of those parents had to say, all right, I'm leaving my job and I'm staying home and watching the kids. Now, things have opened back up, which is great. A lot of jobs have come back, whether that stay-at-home person was a waiter or waitress in the service sector, because those jobs were hardest hit. A lot of those jobs have come back. But there's still something keeping those people from going back into the workforce. And I'll reiterate this again, because I think it's easy to say the additional unemployment benefits, we're keeping them out of the workforce. This 600 to 700 person number, these people are not receiving unemployment benefits. So that's not what's keeping them from getting back in the workforce, but something is. And in many cases, you know, what we heard from HACAP, from Renell, was that they don't want to go back to that waitress job, or they were working a bar, second shift, and you know, after a year away from it, they're like, is there something else I can do? Well, to transition, there are other barriers there, whether it's a training program to take an opportunity out at Husco International in Kokota, to really understand what the new manufacturing kind of workplace looks like. You know, are there ways that our office and our partner organizations can direct funding to that person who's willing to take a new career move that might be just that? It'll be more than just an hourly job. This could be a career for them with more benefits and a higher wage, you know, raise up the rest of the family that they're providing for. Are there ways that we can help them? And so that's really what we're focused on here, hopefully getting the data to allow us to find the people that we need to target. And then once we know those people and have a conversation with them, I mean, in many cases this is going to be one-on-one, to say, what are your goals? What's keeping you from going back into the workforce? Or if you have gone back, you know, is there an opportunity for us to move you to a more career track skilled position if you had the funding and support to learn that skill? Because those, you know, really are important employers in Jackson County, are some of our largest employers, and we have a very strong manufacturing base. There are opportunities there for entry-level and skilled positions. And what I hear from those employers over the past handful of years is some of their skilled positions are persons who will be retiring in the next 5 to 10 years. And if we don't have the programs that come trained up so that they can work under a skilled, experienced person. In the next few years, we're gonna run into some really difficult to fill positions. It's gonna put our employers in a bind, and the productivity will suffer here in Jackson County, as well as the region as a whole. This isn't unique to us.
Well,
So-
wouldn't you agree that's already here, Nick? I mean,
What's that?
We're already kinda at that
Yes.
stage right now?
Oh, we're there.
Yeah.
I think the potential here is for it to become more acute. So, you know, I talked to a number of manufacturers, and they found ways to take that person who was retiring from that skilled maintenance tech position, bring them back part-time, match them with another person who's coming back out of retirement part-time. They've made things work, but that's not a sustainable situation. So we really, you know, I've talked with Brian Kelly at Clinton Community College, the president there. You know, it's great that they passed their bond referendum to build some new career academies and focus their training programs. But now it's about making sure the programming fits the opportunity. Because I'm not looking for them to train students to go down to the Quad Cities. I'm really not. I'm looking for them to train students to take the opportunities that are here in Jackson County. And that's a conversation that we continue to have with our partners, Clinton Community College, the high schools especially. They're really, they understand this situation. And they, more than anyone recently, have been reaching out to me. We just had a meeting last week with some Clinton County superintendents as well as the Jackson County superintendents to say, hey, this is a big opportunity. There's more and more funding coming to support workforce programming. What do we need to do to coordinate our staff in the high schools, even the middle schools, our Clinton Community College opportunities that they have coming down the pike here, and the communities themselves, either represented by Iowa Works when they're working with our residents looking for employment. Because we know that there's gonna be federal funding coming from the Economic Development Administration to support workforce initiatives. We know that the county itself, the cities themselves within the counties are getting American Rescue Plan funding that can go to support workforce initiatives. It's important that we take a look at what the issues are, the gaps, and know where best to leverage these resources to solve the problem, really. One of the other things I want to talk about related to workforce is this sort of pipeline problem. So, you know, I mentioned about the retirements and putting the programs in place to help develop skilled workers. That's one thing. Those are creating workers for the jobs we have now. The other piece is creating workers for the jobs that are going to be here in the future. You know, it's harder to do that, obviously. We don't know how things are gonna change. I don't know that, you know, 15 years ago we knew how much robotics were gonna be utilized in manufacturing, but they're here. I mean, just go walk the floor at Deere and you'll see how much welding can be done with a single welder robot. And, you know, just look across the town here at Plastics Unlimited. They have integrated more and more technology into their process, whether it be prototyping, their R&D kind of stuff, proving out designs to the production itself. And that is only gonna be more important because we don't need more unskilled positions with lower entry wages. We need more skilled positions that are probably gonna help work alongside these automation systems. So what are those new and emerging training opportunities here, whether it be in the community college or given by other organizations? You know, in Jackson County, we have a unique situation here. If anyone heard of Mazak Corporation? So they produce really advanced CNC machinery and sell it to manufacturing firms who utilize that. There are a number of employers in Jackson County who utilize their products. They have a regional training center in Wachovia. The next closest one is in Chicago suburbs. So that's an asset. Ron Schaefer there has always been willing to allow students to come in and tour and learn more about that advanced manufacturing component. But really, you know, what can we do to say the schools and MASAC, you know, high schools and the community college don't need to buy a CNC trainer. They don't need to dedicate space to a training facility for that type of system. They have one that's already built that can share time. So making that, and the technology advances that happen quickly and that I hear about from Ron all the time in that type of system, make sure that we're taking advantage of what we've got here. And then the other side is an organization that's recently starting up called Innovate 120. This is out of Maquoketa now. So Robert Abbott, a gentleman who graduated from high school in Maquoketa. After graduation, he went to college and then worked in the tech industry in Columbus, Ohio. Columbus is known for technology innovation because Adobe was started in Columbus, Ohio. And so there's a really well-developed network of tech companies there. He's established a software design and digital marketing and communications firm himself over many years, and saw an opportunity to come back to his home county. There was a building for sale in downtown Maquoketa, and he said, I can do my job from anywhere. You know, I'm gonna split time between Columbus and Maquoketa, but I want to bring my knowledge of the tech community where jobs can be done from pretty much wherever, as long as you have the skills and internet access. And I'm going to start introducing this to our students first, and then provide some startup support for businesses like the Christiansens here, who are starting up a coffee shop, as well as businesses that might be focused in the tech sector. And so Innovate 120, the idea here is to provide a one-stop shop for the entrepreneur who comes in with an idea, someone who has an online business who's just looking for a place to work, and maybe make some connections with other entrepreneurs, as well as youth programming and mid-career persons who are looking to investigate the tech field. He's making some major investments in the building. It's the old US Bank building in downtown Maquoketa. To improve that, he's going to offer his services both in Maquoketa at that center, as well as in Bellevue at their sort of entrepreneur / high school Bellevue Big Center. It's a project-based learning program. So we will have a little more coverage in the county for people who are looking for services here. But he's making the connections with the schools right now. So we helped Robert secure a grant from Iowa Workforce Development to offer a paid internship over the summer. It's a six-week program. He opened it up for 12 students. He had 11 students. We had 2 weeks. When we knew that we got the funding to when we needed to enroll the students by, and we had 11 students, actually 12 who stepped up, but one was going to be gone for a week, and they really needed to be there for the full 6 weeks. So we had 11 students. They're going to wrap this by the week of the 20, wherever the 22nd is in. So towards the end of this month here. And what they are doing, the students are doing, while being paid, again, to do it, is working with actual clients who have software and technology needs to deliver their product or service. And this type of program is really an introductory thing. They aren't coding. What they're doing is called user experience, UX. And that is essentially talking with a business. They're saying, I'm selling this thing, and I connect with my clients online. I need to develop a website or piece of software that I can utilize to deliver that product or service. And they start with what's called wireframing when it comes to websites. So it's just drawings and concepts and making sure that you understand that client's going to come here, navigate the website, get my product or service here, and this is how we're going to track it and build on that and market it. And this is real world experience. We're going to have an actual walkthrough of the space that'll be open to anyone. I just confirmed the date, Teresa, so I was going to send it out to the board tomorrow, but it'll actually be this Thursday. It's in the middle of the day, I think 12 or 1, but I'll share the information. You may not be able to go there, but the real goal here is to grow this. This was one summer internship program, but serve Jackson County, but there's nothing like this in the Quad Cities right now. There's nothing like what Robert has a vision for creating in Dubuque right now. Maybe Cedar Rapids, Iowa City area has more of this type of programming because you have the university nearby, but this could be a hub, a technology hub for the region, and it's really an opportunity that I know Easton Valley, Kristen, has really taken hold of their IT department and programming for students. He's had a lot of interest of high school students who are looking at going into cybersecurity, those types of things, in the high school level. And this, Tristan and Robert have talked a ton already about how they might be able to connect their programs and get students involved. So I think there's an interest, there's the opportunity, and we just need to figure out sustainable funding so that we can keep doing this more than one summer and keep growing it to offer it to more students for the future. So those are really like the main workforce initiatives that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Again, it's really getting an understanding of what this gap we have an opportunity to grow our labor force here in Jackson County, and then building for the future with some innovative programming, whether it be Innovate 120, whether it be collaborations with the community college and the high schools about other skilled programs that can help deliver workers for our employers in the county. The last thing I'll touch on is it's just important now more than ever to continue to plan for the future, whether it be on workforce development things or any host of elements of economic development, whether it be housing, quality of life, business development. And I know Preston's signed on to partner with the University of Iowa in the coming school year to work on some of these things. It's with the student teams. We have had a lot of conversations. Now things go dark when the school year ends with the university, but at the end of this month we'll be touching base again to firm up the projects for the coming school year. So we will be back in touch with Teresa and everyone else on those, but I think that's a great opportunity to bring fresh eyes to say, first off, to highlight some of the great things that Preston's done. I think the Christiansons are a great example of that. You guys created an incubator opportunity in a town of 1,000 people in rural Jackson County. That's not typical, in case you didn't know. You guys are unique and forward-thinking in doing that, and that's something to be built upon. I mean, you guys have it in place. You've got your second business that's going to grow itself in there, and the opportunity for them to grow up and move on, and then bring in the next one. You have communities like Bellevue and Maquoketa who have not yet developed that, but are working on emulating what Preston's doing. And I know that in my conversations with the Bellevue City Administrator, what you guys did on the walking path, they are impressed, and they are looking to do some improvements on an existing path that they had. And we're just kind of in awe of how you were able to raise the funds for the light post, the kind of engagement you got from the community, all of that. They're looking to emulate you, and I think it's that kind of forward thinking about the future of Preston that's led you to take on this subdivision project too. And I think that is critically important. Without growth in housing, you're not going to have growth in your community, and that's just the reality of it. And it's harder and harder now. Although someone keeps whispering that lumber prices are starting to come back down, and no one wants to say it too loud, just for fear of jinxing it. But I mean, it really takes partnerships now. It's no longer, having available land nearby and a developer will come in and do it. No matter what community you're in, whether it's Preston, whether you're in, Piasta, which has huge housing growth, the city's still partnering to make projects happen. So I think you guys have been a great example of what can be done across the Midwest, but especially here in Jackson County. I just want to make sure we keep planning for the future any questions about, anything really, that our office focuses on, whether it's business development, workforce, or community development. Yeah, Rich?
Thank you for being responsive to the needs of the communities. My question is, have you offered outreach or any kind of communication to any businesses that didn't know the services you were offering?
So we try and reach out to new businesses all the time. So what, we mainly focus on our large employers. That's
Well,
generally.
there's a couple smaller ones that didn't know,
Yep.
and that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, no, well, first off, always direct them to us. We will.
I did.
Okay, we will do whatever we can, whether it's in our office, whether it's connecting them with Teresa or Preston Business Growth, you know, whatever, or Growth and Development, whatever entity seems like the right mix. But we're willing to work with your Main Street business too, whether it's offering our the Jackson County Downtown Low Interest Loan Program, which is one of the programs we run out of our office in collaboration with the Jackson County Financial Institutions. But yeah, we're happy to help. We do our best. You know, we have three people, Stephanie, which many of you know, moved on to bigger and better things in Quad Cities Chamber and Economic Development. But it left us with a little bit of a hole in some of our efforts. So we're just hired a new person who started today, who will work as our office assistant, hopefully grow into some more. It's hard to replace someone like Stephanie who's been there for 4 years and really developed. But to your point, Rich, yeah, we do our best. We don't get a lot of time to go pound pavement though. So that's a struggle. We also spent a year cloistered, and that's really hard to connect with people. So we rely a little bit on you to help direct people who might,
Yeah, I know it.
might be in need.
I would love to see, the ideal situation would be to have, I mean, we're all big on committees, we gotta have committees for this, committees for that.
Yep.
To have a committee for an SBA, a Small Business Association, just to have them sign up and get in, and then all of a sudden, when a mass mailing comes out, hey, this is for you guys.
Yeah.
Boom, there.
Well, no, it's not.
I think we need that.
Well, so one thing that is unusual in Iowa, I think, compared to many other states, even in the Midwest, normally, no matter how small your town is, there, especially out in the eastern side of the country, there is a sort of business license for any business, whether it's new, home-based, whatever. And that, there's not usually a price for it. People just come in, they sign up for the business license, you get contact information, what they do, and where they operate. The nice thing about that is that it is a ever updating list of businesses, big and small, within any one jurisdiction. That's the struggle with chambers and economic development offices in this area is we don't have that to, I can't call Teresa and say, in the last year, how many new businesses registered with you? And
Pretty much anybody's got tax permit.
sales
Yeah.
tax permits? Sales tax permits?
Yep, that kind of narrows it down.
It can,
Yeah.
it can. They don't have to update a sales tax permit very often, but you can, I could backtrack it based on how many times, or the last time they paid out their disbursements. But I have to go to the state for that information, for the sales tax permits. But that's not a bad way to backdoor it as well. That's a possibility. You don't catch everything in that instance. For instance, some home-based businesses will still be small enough where they won't register on that.
Understood, yep.
And they might be using a sort of do think there's an opportunity there to do a better job of understanding the lay of the business land in the Jackson County. It'd be nice if there was even just a, you know, if not a chamber in Preston, but say a small business or downtown business, committee that would meet every, you know, you could do it quarterly or something along those lines. We'd be willing to help facilitate that kind of a thing. I know Preston Growth and Development kind of serves, that as well as some community development initiatives, so there's a possibility that that could sort of serve as that opportunity too. But I hear what you're saying, Rich. If there's someone who wants to get on my, say, email list for when I'm pushing out resources and stuff, we can think a little bit about how to better promote that and get that out to you all, so you can direct them to say, well, sign up for this and you'll get the most updated information.
No, I talked to business owners, and that got brought up, but did you know this was available?
Okay, well, noted. No, I think it's a good point. We'll figure out something that we can do to better market our assistance.
They realized there was a previous offer like a year ago, or,
Well, but in defense of Nick too, I mean, have they reached out themselves
no,
to anybody? So it goes, you know, it goes both ways.
that's what I'm saying,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make this a
Yeah.
Bridge the gap there.
two-way communication.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, we can do stuff to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions or comments?
Just to echo what Rich said, you know, thank you for bringing these topics to our meeting night discussion, but when do you think you'll have the information back from, you know, Iowa State after they do their collective data and stuff? When would that information be available? I guess a two-part question. And then how will that get relayed out to the communities or the businesses to know who those people are and how, is there a plan on any of that?
Yeah, so they've given us kind of a tentative timeline. Part of it is, you know, it's always a struggle with working with universities during the summer. They want to have it done by the fall of this year.
2021?
Yes, so they're doing their data research right now, which is, you know, will take some time themselves to analyze their data sets for their specific purposes. They're gonna come out with some recommendations on, I think they wanna focus on 4, community initiatives. And that part, what they hope to do at the end of their report is have a meeting, an in-person meeting. Ideally, this whole process would have been in person, so you could have invited, you know, I would have sent out information to Teresa here, and the city could have put it out to any business, big or small, who was interested in coming in and hearing about the project and moving forward. We did it virtually. We actually had a decent level of participation there, but not as good as opening up a meeting, offering some food, and inviting people in to be a part of the conversation. But that's the hope for the end.
Okay.
So we will present, ISU will present these recommendations to the public then. So we will share that information when it comes. I haven't heard, Mark Reining's kind of our region's economic development representative for Cirrus right now. I haven't heard from him this week, or this is a brand new week. Last week I didn't hear from him, but hopefully we'll get an update on their progress soon.
Is the recommendations like for the city, or is the recommendations for like
Yeah.
the business owners, like, you gotta do this, this, and this to get people? Like,
Yeah, it's interesting,
is it
so.
both, or just?
It's a little bit of both. Now, it's a good question because initially, you know, when we're having these background conversations with ISU, well, these are very different businesses. So many of them are targeting very different demographics for their jobs, to say the least. And they said, yeah, so what we are focused on is providing some pretty general recommendations, what they're calling community recommendations. So they could be useful for each of the businesses themselves. So whether that recommendation is focusing on out commuters, as we kind of talked about, Jackson County is a net out commuter. The majority of, you know, we have, let's say, 20,000 people here, target, out commuters, and then they will give you the data to back that up. So if it's Husco and they're saying, we need, an assembly level person with this much experience, they have data to say, what's your usual demographic that you shoot for here? It's men and women between the ages of 26 and 35 for this position. This is how many are leaving this position for a similar position in, outside of the community. And then you can figure out strategies of how to market to those persons directly, your opportunities. But there will be, and they offered this as well, at the end of their community recommendation piece, they have some additional funding to work one-on-one with the business. To say, okay, so let's look specifically at what your workforce issues are. So say you have major turnover issues. Let's do a deeper dive into what wages are offered around this region. Because employer X, you are, whether you believe it or not, competing with Dubuque and the Quad Cities for your workers. And you need to be positioning yourself to that. I think a lot of employers are getting that now, but that's just an example. So they will do one-on-one work with employers as well, but what they're focused on initially is more generally applicable recommendations. So that could be from focusing on those out commuters to looking for that business, for instance, to look at new and emerging automation for their production facility. So it's it's helping their workforce problem, but it's not growing the workforce necessarily. It's saying you have these, well, let's say $10 to $14 an hour entry level jobs with limited benefits. Those are the ones you're having the hardest time filling. Are there systems you can put in place that limit the number of people you need to fill that, and then instead make those jobs for that sector higher paying because they're higher skilled? And then what are those programs to help build those skilled workforce? So it's a little bit, I don't have concrete examples yet because they haven't brought them to me, but it is a little bit of both.
Okay.
Both one-on-one with an employer and the community itself. Jackson County as a whole can adopt some pieces.
I think it's really intriguing to get when you talk about the people that commute out of towns. I think it's just, when people aren't looking for a job, they're happy with the job they have, and I think there's misconception that I need to travel to Dubuque or the Quad Cities to make the income that I need to make. People, that might just be an assumption because they don't know the things you talked about tonight, the technology and things, fields that are going on,
Right.
the new businesses coming up. So if people aren't looking, how do you get that information to them, I think is a huge challenge, because the people that are looking, is hard to get them to come to a job fair or read an ad or do that. So if they're not looking, to get that in their hands, to know what the options are, because I think there's so many benefits that people I think they do think about, but your commute time, that you're away from your family, if you're
Yep.
traveling an hour and a half, a day to do that, wear and tear on your vehicle, gas, every time gas goes up, you're losing a little money, And then just the benefits, the feeling of helping your community, or if your child's having a school concert that you might be able to take off for a half hour, maybe
Exactly.
you don't have that option if you're 60 miles away. So I just think that's really interesting. I just, how do you get that for
Yeah.
the people that aren't looking for jobs to know that they're available?
Well, part of that is it's a culture change. So back in the day, there were Iowa workforce development centers throughout the state. People knew that if I'm looking for work, even if I'm not looking hard for work, I check in at the Iowa Workforce Development Center to see what's open. People had an understanding of where you went to find work when you were looking for it. Now it's a little more difficult, and because of that, because if you put yourself in the unemployed person's perspective, they've had to rely on new tools. Most of it's online, or staffing services, those kind of opportunities. So it spreads them out further. So from me, I'm working with an employer, and the employers themselves, they have less of an obvious place to go. They're all Indeed.com, because more and more jobs are being found online. Well, you know, they get like, I think the story I heard was there was something like 40 applications through Indeed, which sounds like a great response, especially right now. They followed up with 10 of them, 5 responded, and 1 showed up for the interview. So it's not, you're getting more responses, but you're getting less quality of those contacts. And, you know, it is a problem. And I think more, and it's part of what our office tries to do, is has a conversation with media and the community to talk about this, to say, here are the challenges that Preston, here are the challenges that Jackson County are having with workforce. If you're looking for work, if you are looking to look at a new career, trying to support your family in new ways, these are the trends we're seeing in new jobs. These are the opportunities we have here. Here's where you can find out more about them. And that last piece, that's part of the reason why I'm excited to take the kind of splashiness that Innovate 120 might be able to offer. It's going to be this new thing that's open to the public for people to come in. If we can use that, let's say, headline grabbing, clickbait kind of essence that it could have to say, this is, if you want to learn about a job, whether it's a tech job, a job that's currently available, or training for jobs in the future, you can stop here and they're going to connect you with anyone who can make that opportunity available to you. I think that's part of the conversation. It needs to be just known in the community where you go if you want a career, if you want to learn about a career, and really getting it into schools for the future. So we're always trying to solve the immediate problem, and now here's an opportunity to maybe do both. Create the culture in the schools right now where people know I'm learning this to be this, or to investigate this. The big thing that I hear from schools sometimes is, I get the effort here to connect a student right out of school to the workplace, but the reality is, I don't want to train them for one thing, because the law of averages says they're going to change careers 3 times in their lifetime right now. So they also need to have some other skills, critical thinking skills, and I think we're able to do all of those things at the same time. And when they're ready for that career change, I want somewhere where they know they can go to learn more about it and find the training that they need.
Yeah, the technology aspect of that is very exciting. That's something that's, I mean, it's been around for a long time, but I feel like it's kind of new, you know, to Jackson County a little bit, because
Oh, for sure.
you know, it's not a bad thing at all. But I mean, we're well known as, in Iowa is well known as an agricultural based,
For sure.
you know, economy. So to have that technology, I mean, you can do that from anywhere. So
Yeah, well, and I think the other opportunity here is, look at how many businesses started up on the farm and utilizing technology. I mean, it's not like rural communities are unfamiliar with entrepreneurism. They just
Right.
don't call it that.
Right.
Plastics Unlimited.
Right.
Yes.
Start
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
on.
Yes, exactly. And even in traditional agriculture, what we'll call traditional agriculture, more and more technology is being
for sure.
being added to it. I mean, the instances of drone technology and the software to support that, so you can monitor your fields at a better rate. There's an opportunity there for continued growth in new businesses in tech and technology, you know, software and technology here in Jackson County, connected to agriculture. I mean, doesn't need to be the new app for the iPhone. You know, delivering music or something.
Right.
It can be something people know, and I think that there's no reason why we couldn't do that here if they know how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Does anybody have anything else for Nick?
I think we could go on all night.
Yeah.
But it's a big conversation, which is why we're devoting more effort to it. I think in part because we're hearing it from the employers, and this past year has just made it more obvious that we need to get better connected to workers and potential workers in our county. And that's
Yeah.
what we're trying to do.
The feedback on that will be very interesting
Yes.
to find that out for sure,
Yep.
so.
Is that, and Rich's comments, is that something, Teresa, we could put on our Facebook page or our website to just to promote if you're a small business looking for help to, you know, here's the contact to do and help get people out, you know, to read that and
We're,
get hold of Nick, you know?
working on our website again. I just had a conversation with them today, so we're back at it. Cassie was in here, so, yeah.
So I can think of several businesses in town that would grow if they could get the employees right now from truck driving to everything else, you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
And if they just looked at different ways to promote themselves and.
Well, and one thing we can, you know, one thing that gets clicks is assistance or money. One of the things we're working on right now in part with Clinton Community College and Northeast Iowa Community College, as well as our economic development professionals within that kind of huge region. They secured an economic development administration grant to provide technical assistance to businesses, so that's a, kind of, been trying to tell them, figure out a way to market that in more marketable language. But really, it's, if you need a financial assistance in looking at your books to whether you're gonna make it through the next year, are you too debt heavy, are you making enough, what do you need to optimize your cash flow? They will pay for 80 to 90% of the cost of that professional to come in and do that.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And we're just about to roll this out to really promote it, but this could be the opportunity. We'll put together kind of a MailChimp collection so we can build an email list to really make that connection. And we'll give you that information. You can put that out on Facebook and say, hey, are you looking to learn how to grow and assist your business for the future? Contact or sign up for this, and we'll definitely reach out to them.
I think Facebook is a really, twofold. It's really good.
Yeah.
But people
It's
look.
good and bad.
It's good and bad, because some people say, I am not going on Facebook because it's too drama-ridden. Well, you just have to keep scrolling on things, because there is a lot of good information out there,
You gotta pick your friends on the playground for one thing.
yeah.
Yeah, that too.
I'm just sorry, that's,
Yeah, but the big thing is, City of Preston, we do take a lot of the information that JCEA gives us and we put it out there. And that, I think, is part of what businesses also need to understand. You know, you have to get with technology and get with the times
Right.
in order to get the information.
Yeah, you definitely, I mean, you have to market yourself too, I mean, it's not, you know, it's not something that's.
The old days of,
Right.
of getting a mailing or
Yeah.
everything being in the newspaper,
Right.
Right.
it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
Well, I appreciate the time, guys.
yes, and thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you.
and talking to us, that was very interesting and informative, so.
Yes, you too.
Thank you, Nick.
See you guys.
Yeah,
Okay, so now,
we need to approve the agenda.
yes, we will jump back up to number 4.
questions? Police operations. Corey,
Sir,
ammo,
sir,
44602. You have a budget of $600. You gonna be okay with that?
The new budget is 1,000.
Where the heck you find that at?
Where are you at, Rich?
600 was last year's budget.
600 was last year's budget. There's 1,000 in the budget for this year.
Right.
Okay. Question two, has there been any kind of estimates or anything done on the Charger as far as
side, but he is gone on vacation for the 16th. But yes, it will be over there. We were looking at the Explorer to get an estimate on that.
The Charger had the cooling fan, but they got taken care of, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
warranty.
Okay, I'm sorry, I spoke out of turn.
Okay, fine. So you were talking about
Agenda.
the consent agenda?
No, our,
Rich, were
Oh.
you talking about the consent questions on the,
Comparisons to budget. Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
okay, well, we need an approval for the agenda.
I'll approve it.
Second, roll call, please.
JT Thompson.
Yes.
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
Rich Peterson.
Yes.
Sorry, Rich, I wasn't trying to cut you off, I just wanted to make sure we were on the, number 5, I don't think we have anybody signed up for that, so. Okay, Rich, did you have anything else on?
I do have one question.
Okay.
How many months do we have to pay on our street lighting contract?
I would have to look it up to see what we got left, but I can get that
Put
information.
that out in an email.
I can email you
Thank you.
that number.
All right, anything else? Questions or concerns on the consent agenda? If not, can I have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Second.
And roll call?
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
Rich Peterson.
Yes.
JT Thompson.
Yes.
Okay, we will jump back down to number 9 then. Discuss and consider approval of payment number 6 in the amount of $323,922.45 for Staub Construction. I guess
Things
this
are
is
going well
just
on the
yeah.
construction site. They had the major process unit start up today, the nitrox unit, got it filled, got the media in there that will be part of the process, and things went well on that, so the project is starting to wind down.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've only got another ballpark $113,000 out of the little over $1.2 million project yet to pay on it, so.
Okay.
Probably be one more pay estimate and then the release of retainage.
Okay.
Are you happy with the way the project's gone?
Oh, yeah, very happy.
It seems like it's been pretty smooth. I mean, there's been a few things here and there, but that's.
Yeah, you
not
know, and we do
uncommon.
have a change order to come up and talk about, and even with that, we're at less than 1% of the total contract cost, which is, in my book, is really good, if we're, you know, in that ballpark, so happy with that.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions for Barb? If not, can I have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
One question, I
Okay.
apologize. Just, you know, with our change in, our employees to, work on the water sewer side of things, if we need training in the future on this, you know, we'll need more, obviously.
Yeah.
Would that be available through, who would we get a hold of to do that?
Yeah, you know, part of our contract that we have with you is also some post-commissioning services over the, you know, warranty period there.
Yeah.
So some of that could be spent on us coming down there too, and, you know, we try to get as many staff as we can to be there to hopefully kind of pass that on,
They've
but.
been out there. And did Bryson, I think Bryson was going to video
Yes.
it for us.
They were going, I think Staub was gonna
Yeah,
video it.
somebody,
That would be
we
good.
talked
That's a
about
great
that.
idea,
So.
they were videoing
Yeah,
startup.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you
I
think
never
of
thought of
think
that.
that.
That is a great idea.
Yeah, so that.
That's just like a concern I had, is who's going to know how to operate all this.
Yeah, you're gonna have a video of the startup here, so that's
Yeah.
very
Who's
beneficial.
thought of that? That's great.
I think Staub? Or maybe-
Abby,
Abby, yeah.
Abby mentioned
Project
it.
manager for
Yeah.
Staub, so that's just.
Cause they've
really
done
great.
that,
Yeah.
I think they've done it before, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good idea.
Yeah, you always can look, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Service is part of the sale.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Okay, any further discussion consider approval of change order number 4 for stop construction. So Mark, if you want.
Yeah, so this change order is for $2,457, and it's related to, the power that's at the facility isn't what we thought it was. It's not what was on the original plan. The original one-line diagrams show a 277, 480 three-phase service. That's your typical service you see now. You're not able to get any other 480 service from like Lion Energy. Come to find out, when they hooked up power, it was actually 240, 480. It's somewhat, you don't see that around much. So we had to upgrade the, this change order is for the little transformer that's in the building. It was currently set for the 240, 480 to 120. It's for the lighting loads in there, transfers the main power to a smaller lighting load, receptacle load. That had to be replaced, and the cost of that was $2,457.
Didn't we have a change order previous? for
Yeah,
something
that had
similar?
to do with the power into, and even at that time, we didn't, I didn't recognize, neither did they, that the power was actually 277 or 240, 480 instead of 277, 480. So this is somewhat probably related to that same issue.
Yeah.
We just didn't realize it at the time.
At the time of the initial construction, somebody should have been thinking of that, because
Yeah, and
277
hindsight's
was
2020. I don't think I'll ever assume that the power of the one-line diagram is what it is. I'll go put a meter on it and actually verify what the power
Yep.
is. So I learned something in this process too.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions for Mark regarding that? Not, can I have a motion for approval?
Make a motion to approve change order number 4 for stop construction.
And second?
second,
And roll call.
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
Rich Peterson.
yes,
JT Thompson.
Yes.
Number 11, discuss and consider approval of payment number 1 in the amount of $38,123.02 for BWC Excavating LC.
Yeah, so that project is just somewhat started, and of course, right when we start to get a little bit of rain out there, so.
Go figure, huh?
I'm somewhat, besides the completion date that we're going towards, I'm kinda glad they're not out there trying to work in the real muddy ground there. I feel like we'd be probably trying to lose some rock or something to stabilize that, so I'm glad they're, you know, so I'm somewhat, although we wanna get this project completed, we are experiencing a little bit of delay on that. I did have a discussion with Brandon from BWC late last week because of the next agenda item that we're talking about. You know, one of the reasons we waited at the last, I guess it's about a month ago now, where we were considering the payment was we weren't sure what sort of stabilization stone we might be needing out there.
Change orders that could come to play.
Yeah, and what he's seeing out there is he's saying the material seems somewhat good, and he's not anticipating a lot of subgrade stabilization to move the project forward. Now, you know, I don't know how far they are along, and he talked about an overburden from the quarry that he might bring in some of the fill areas. So that was good news from my perspective, that he's not thinking that it's overly wet or mushy to the point where he's going to need to bring in substantial amounts of subgrade stabilization.
What's the completion date on that?
I think we were at
September 1.
like September 1, yeah,
So
so.
what, and I guess just being the pessimist, you know, when as time comes closer to an end and rain keeps going and they do start mudding it in, let's say, you know, what could cost you at that point?
You know, and that's a good question. I guess I'd like to work through these things with you, as a council. You know, is there any play in that September 1st date? You know, a lot of times we allow contracts to extend due to weather conditions, you know. Are we really holding back what could go on out there as far as home development if we allow that to extend a little bit so that we can maybe have a better obstructing the road, and I don't know, it's difficult to project, you know, what that would be. I know our estimate, we went with like assuming a 25% coverage of like a foot deep of macadam or modified macadam to stabilize. So, maybe 3 times the amount then that we have on there. So if I thought 25%, the worst case scenario is 100% of it needs to be stabilized. Trying to think, I have a bid tab with me that would show what we actually have, or maybe it shows on the pay estimate here.
You said I guess this is more for Teresa, you said that we have a few people interested in lots out
Yes.
there, but were they interested, like, buying them like now and starting
Well-
putting the house up this fall, or?
I just got the covenants back from the attorney, so those need to be reviewed again. And, if there's any changes or additions, and then they'll come to council. So before people commit, they wanna know what the covenants are going to be.
Oh, yeah, I
What they can
understand.
build. So, but yeah, I have really 2 people that are really interested. A third one that as soon as I get the covenants, I mean, really what needs to happen is these covenants need to be reviewed again to council approve, and then they can get out.
Yeah, I know Mark was just saying something, you know, about if we have to extend the date, I was just, if we do that, I guess I am kind of open to that, cause I'd rather have it done right. than,
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I found the number just so we got $21,000 in subgrade stabilization as part of the current contract. That's 1,350 tons at $15.50. If what I'm saying is correct, and I think my memory is correct on that, that's 25% of the total area. So another $63,000 would be a worst case scenario for subgrade stabilization. And from what Brandon's saying, I don't see us going in that direction.
Okay.
That's a lot of money.
Question, sir. Is that just for the base for the street, or is that for base for the utilities and everything?
Yeah, we've got it's strictly for the street. Anywhere the utilities are going in under pavement, that's all, the trenches are filled back up with trench stabilization stone, or so it's filled with stone above those trenches.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I kinda agree with JT, I mean, I guess, we'll just kinda keep rolling with it, but if it gets too much longer here, and they're thinking, you know, that's something we might have to visit and discuss.
Yeah, they're not asking for anything yet. They were projecting, if you remember correctly, they thought, by the end of the 4th of July, they were gonna be ready for paving. So, we seem to be about a month out, but they seem to be like, they were gonna complete a month ahead of time, their original goal, so we'll kinda see how things.
Once they
play
get
out.
going, it won't take long.
No.
Well, I thought they could have been here just a little bit earlier.
Oh, they could've, you're right.
yeah, it's kinda on them too, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's true, that's a true statement.
But then again, I don't want it to be, no, this is a hard deadline, you know, and then
No,
it be a mess.
Yeah,
We don't
it's
need to
just
go there.
imperative we've got a good base for the
Right.
pavement.
Oh, yeah, that's,
You know,
that's
we
number
can
one.
talk about
Yeah,
that.
it's not like we got 20 people, you know, hounding us
Yeah.
right now, so.
That's even more important than the pavement thickness, really.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
So,
we don't wanna screw that up, so. Okay, well, we'll just keep kind of playing by ear, and hopefully, hopefully we get some good weather here coming up. And it starts going in our favor again, so. Okay, well, we kinda touched on,
or did
or we
anybody
need.
approve that pavement?
Yeah, I need an approval, I guess, for that, payment number 1.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment number 1.
Second,
Second?
and roll call.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
JT Thompson,
Yes.
Rich Peterson.
yes,
And then number 12, discuss and consider approval of adding an additional inch of concrete for the Marvin subdivision. We kind of touched on that.
Yeah, I think we had a thorough discussion a month ago. Nothing's really changed on that. You know, I had thought about how we're tying it to the subgrade. It really is, it's really more of a decision of just, do you want to double the life of the pavement? Do you feel like you need to, you know? I think we're looking at 1 million easels to 2 million easels. I'm still confident the original design is a good design, but for whatever it is, $25,000, you do have the ability to double the life of that pavement, you know?
Still go back to, it's just, and I'm on the fence, but it's not just $25,000, you're taking a loan out for how many years on interest, you know? So, I mean, it's not huge money, you know?
Yeah.
It's not a main thoroughfare, it's gonna see a bunch of semi-traffic pulling out of the hauling grain or meat or whatever else, it's a cul-de-sac subdivision. You know?
The only thing I think of, and you brought this, maybe you brought this up, man, it's like, okay, we get this thing built, and then we're gonna have houses built on this thing for years to come. And you have, you know, cement trucks and small cranes, you know, all that stuff. That's-
Small cranes?
Well, you know, if they put up, you know,
Yeah,
houses,
trusses.
and they're not small anymore, you know.
No, construction's gonna be the hardest on them.
Yes,
Pump trucks,
sure.
and that's the
For
first
You know,
few years is gonna be the toughest.
Yeah,
True.
that's,
True.
it's not the everyday car driving through here, it's that, you know, years of houses going up there.
Yeah, I agree,
You know?
that's gonna be the hardest part, the
And I
snow plows and
looked
the
at the
garbage trucks, that's
whole
not.
amount of the whole project, what is it for the cement, 20-some thousand?
25.
Which is really more, like Matt said, cause you're getting a loan to put extra cement to make it last longer. I mean, I was on the fence too, I kinda lean more right now, I'm just talking out loud here to, you know, bite the bullet and let's put extra cement down and, you know, be done with it. That's how I feel. Rich, what's your thoughts?
Do it once, do it right.
Is it something we want to, I'm just throwing it out there, is it something we want to talk about tonight and decide, or is it something,
Do we have to vote on it? Does it have
that's
to
what I
be
mean, do
done
we
now?
want to wait?
We said that a month ago too, didn't we?
Well, do we want to wait till the next council meeting, we have a full council hopefully back? I don't know, I'm asking,
26th is
This-
the next council meeting.
up to you guys, or if you guys,
It's the issue with they've gotta get their subgrade prepped,
oh, okay.
and that, you know, they're gonna, I'm
I
assuming that
asked
over the
about that.
next couple weeks or month, they're gonna really have to
Yeah,
get
they're
that
gonna,
filled
yeah,
in,
for
and
sure.
it just, they're going an inch deeper if we go with 7 inch.
Another inch of dirt's gonna be
Right,
removed for the sub
right.
base and.
Right,
Yeah, and they need to know.
yeah, okay.
Is there any extra cost in any of that, moving the extra inch of dirt out, or anything that's minuscule, it won't matter?
No, they haven't, no one said anything to me about it, so, yeah.
Okay, any other discussion on that?
I guess you being on the fence is just,
I'm not sure how to, ask me the question, I guess.
well, I guess, you know, it's already been, you know, I guess engineered for this, you know. I guess you're on the fence more just because of what it costs in the long run for it's already approved.
Yeah,
It's not a street that's you know, not a highway.
Yeah, I don't know that it's needed, I think it's engineered that, and then what we're gonna do, we'll handle it, you know, and again, I am a little concerned, the first few years is gonna be the most drastic, when you
Yeah.
have pump trucks sitting on it, and there's pads, and you have cement trucks, and a possible crane, well, you're gonna have cranes to do some stuff, you're gonna have some heavier traffic on it,
Yeah.
you know, but
But it is obviously the taxpayers' money, I just want, if we're gonna spend it, I wanna spend it.
and that's where I'm at, you know, let's just say it's $35,000, where can that money be spent better at, but I hate to be the guy that talks, that tries to sway my way too, that costs us more in the long run because we're patching up there and things too.
Well, I think Gerardi brought that up. Well, how much is the patch job when we're doing it 20 years from now?
Well, I mean, we
You
know
know?
those get expensive and then you prioritize and blah, 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 blah.
So, yeah, if these other streets
I'm
were
just-
built, built a little bit better, but I like agree, the basis.
And that goes back to a lot of the base issues on this other
Right.
stuff,
Right, there you go.
you know?
Yeah.
So if you have a solid base and you give them the time to make sure they do it, we save that $60,000 that maybe we allow a little bit, another 30 days if needed or something to do, so blah, blah, blah. You know,
Right.
is that extra money needed? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just an FYI, you'll have to agree on it, or we need to,
Have we tabled?
yeah. For it to pass.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking Matt, because I think Matt's the swing vote here. And I'm not trying to sway him either way, because
No.
it is what it is, and I'll be fine whatever direction it goes, but I'm leaning more towards, extra cement. That's where I'm at.
I know Rich is.
And the thing that's just, to me, is for, we're gonna hopefully build all these houses up there, and it's a lot of wear and tear the first, hopefully, couple of years of houses.
Do you know, Mark, for sure, the subdivision just prior to it right there, do you know what the depth of that material is?
Yeah, well, do I know? Did I know what the voltage was on it?
Good point.
I haven't physically seen it, which I like that.
Somebody else's witchcraft.
It was designed for 6-inch. I don't know that a council decision was made to increase it, I don't know that.
And I guess I'll go back to you too, I'm just trying to, let's talk it through, so.
Absolutely.
When I went back and looked at our patching,
Have we walked the first subdivision, see how bad shape that's in?
I took the moped up and down it, so yeah, I did. Walking, no, not so much, but.
I did take the side by side with her, and I thought, and it is getting, it's in good shape yet for how long it's
Yeah.
been.
Oh, yeah.
But there's some wear and tear there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna get hard and crack.
Yeah,
That's,
what it does.
That's concrete,
Yeah, but.
Hard to avoid.
But I don't see any major patch jobs up there. I
It,
don't-
it looks really, really good for what it is, and the same things happen there, the homes were built on it, and,
Yeah.
and obviously, it's the same things we just talked about, is wear and tear, but. And I'll go back to, I went, the last meeting we had, we talked about it, I went back and looked at patches, and all our patches have been 7-inch patches, so I wanted to look at that, so.
That's kind of the new standard, or gonna be the new standard, pretty much, 7-inch.
Well,
Because we're,
it's a tough decision. It's really up to a council. Us as engineers, we can go, depending on what sort of life you're looking at and what the uses are. Would I like an insurance policy and have it 7 inches and feel more confident that when this heavy equipment is on there, that would be great. Again, I feel like what I wanna make sure happens is that you've got a really good subgrade. And then I feel like, either one of the pavements will perform well.
Most people around here, your driveways and stuff are just gonna be 4 inches.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
probably the businesses here that are having heavy traffic on are probably going 6 inches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just for being realistic.
Unless it's got a sidewalk in it.
Say that again.
That's in our code. Was the sidewalk 5-inch if it goes across the driveway?
I think so.
Yeah.
I know it's thicker than the sidewalk itself.
Okay,
We can,
yeah.
we can cost more money if we hold people up too, I guess, so just look at it, if we need to postpone it, wait, I hate to do that too.
Be a good time for an asphalt salesman to speak up.
I was wondering that, well, concrete concrete's out, right?
I guess it's in your hands now, so
Well,
if somebody wants to make a motion, or if they feel like we need further discussion.
Can we wait till I got a complete council?
I
You wanna
guess
wait
Mark would be
2
the one to
weeks,
ask.
right?
It'd be
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is that all
You
right?
know, the fact that they're not out there moving so much may help things out. I'm gonna contact Brandon, just find out how critical this is. Wonder if he'd answer his phone right now. I don't know, would you guys be up for me just calling him? and
Oh,
asking
we can,
him
fine.
how
If you wanna step out and do that, we can.
Yeah, we
I
can
can
move on to
even
the next
just-
one and
Yeah,
come
why
back.
don't we do that?
Okay.
Alright?
I think
Okay,
that's
so
good.
then, in the meantime, we will move down to 13, discuss street sweeping for Goose Lake.
I had a call from the clerk in Goose Lake wondering, they'd heard we have a street sweeper. Would we be interested in sweeping their street? And they wanted it done before RAGBRAI, which here in the next couple weeks. I said I needed to bring it to the meeting, first of all. Second of all, we're short-staffed. That maybe this year would not be the year to do it, but I can certainly find out if council will entertain that idea.
When does RAGBRAI come through?
End of July. last
End of
week.
July.
In July?
yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
It's always the same in
August.
fair.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So
so,
what are you thinking from a city standpoint? Not capable or?
for this time,
Right.
I think we've got so many things doing on our own with the new lagoon and trying to get someone on, and I think having someone take a day to, cause we drive it there. We drive it
day?
back. Well, by the time I don't know how fast the thing goes, I'm just being,
I think it'd take a day, the time you drive it there.
drive there and then sweep it,
It's half,
come
yeah.
back.
I say give it 4 or 5 hours.
I would think half a day.
I'd say 5 hours.
What,
But when you don't have enough people, that's fine.
Yeah,
but then let's get to the next, what, any kind of a price?
I would think we'd be looking, and I'll verify it, $100, $125 an hour.
Yeah, I think go back to comparisons, we've had people give us pricing on sweeping and,
Right.
find that
I guess,
happy medium, you know?
I guess I don't have an issue sending it over to the, over there to do it and get paid and help their community out, cause we might need something from them sometime.
I think it's good, yes.
Yeah, I have zero
Good neighbor
issue.
relations.
Yeah, I have zero issues with it. I guess I would just rather leave it up to Teresa and Jack to decide if they can run down there and get it done before RAGBRAI, and if not, whenever they can do it. I guess that's how I feel.
Is it something you could even tell Goose Lake, just be completely forthright and honest with them, that, hey, we're just short on people, if you wanted to do it, it might have to be overtime and you pay it, is that even an option?
But, yeah, like Saturday morning.
If they wanted it done this year, yeah,
If they wanted it for RAGBRAI, but we're not, it's gonna be more because we
you
don't.
would have to pay somebody to do it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
This year would be an overtime pay if you want it done before July, so we,
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued by it, honestly, because that's kind of what I was maybe not hoping for when we bought it, but maybe we could contract it out, here and there.
Well, and I
make a
can
little
talk
bit
to
of money
Jack
off of it.
and see, the thing is where right now, we have Ray off on vacation, then Eric goes off on vacation, and then I don't know where Jack is. I mean, we've got a couple people that have been here quite a while and they have vacation time.
Yeah.
And it is kind of they like using their time.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I'm
And
not,
So, we get where on one day last week, Eric and Jake. Now, we always communicate well within the group, to make sure whoever is left behind feels okay with that.
I agree with JT, I think we should leave it up to you guys, you come up with price.
You guys can
We
squeeze
can
it
agree
in.
on,
Okay.
the council can say with the price and.
You got a CDL, Teresa?
No.
What does it pay? I'll drive
Yeah, I,
Earl, you can drive it over there, can't you? On your-
They do run my sweepers, I
just got it yesterday, right?
Court.
Do we just gotta make a motion that we approve you guys to do whatever? or how
I
do you
said
want-
just discuss, so
I
if you've
think,
given me the go forward,
I think everybody's,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
in
a,
favor.
that's a daily operation.
City discretion.
Yep.
okay,
Yeah,
Whatever you get done.
Okay.
take care of it.
perfect. Okay, Mark is back.
Yeah, so I did talk with Brandon and kind of talked to him about the 2-week outlook. He does have the ability to allow you guys just 2 more weeks to make this decision. What he's gonna do is he's gonna rough it all in an inch lower, and then he'll take the spoils from when they do the sanitary sewer in there and just place that if he's gotta add that extra inch instead of getting rid of it. So he's got the ability, it won't set him back basically
Okay.
to wait 2 weeks. He's gonna actually cut it down for the 7-inch pavement, and once he does his fine grading, he'll get that material back in there with what's there, so. If we make the decision to go with.
Yeah, I think we need to have a full council, or at least one more person.
And you'll know more about what we're seeing out there in 2 more weeks, so.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Well, and maybe it allows whoever needs to go look at St. Joe's.
Yeah, and I think too, like Mark said too, I mean, with the weather and everything, hopefully they'll be in there a little bit more.
Yeah.
So they,
And I'm sure they wanna be, so.
so, okay, that's good with me if that's all.
Yeah, that'd be fine to
Everybody
table that.
else, so.
Mark, could you verify the depth of that pavement up there then, in that 2 weeks?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Oh, and the old subdivision?
That way,
Yeah.
that way we know for sure. And then I encourage anybody to go take a peek at it, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over there, I'll take a look a little bit.
See good feedback for everybody, you
Yeah.
know.
Yep. Okay, we will table that then until the next meeting and we'll go from there.
Did you
So-
guys want me to stick around for 16 or 17? I don't know that I have a lot to add on that.
I don't think you need to.
No, I don't think so.
Alright, alright.
Thank you, Mark.
Have a great night.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
For your
Mark.
evening, sir. Drive safe.
You bet, thanks.
Number
Steve, Mark.
14, discuss and consider approval of signing a limited disclosure dissemination agent agreement with Northland Securities, Inc.
With our, bond issuance, it has to, the information each year, financial information needs to be disseminated to the different financial, systems, Emma being one of them. Northland Securities actually posted it out there, even though it's not it wasn't really a requirement for this year, but did it anyway, just to make sure we were covered. So what this actually does is give them the, permission, the approval, that they can do that for us.
Anybody have any questions on that? Not, can I have a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
And roll call.
JT Thompson,
Yes.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Rich Peterson.
Yes.
Number 15, discussing and consider approval of Elizabeth Smithson to the Preston Library Board.
She's on.
She's over.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
No, but thank you to her for being
Yeah.
willing to do that.
Yes.
So,
Motion?
Make a motion to approve Elizabeth Smithson to the Preston Library Board.
Second,
I'll second.
and roll call.
JT Thompson,
Yes.
Rich Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
Number 16, discuss and consider affidavit operator options.
So the gravels, Jake and Rodney Gravel came in a week ago and visited with Jack and went around and looked at our operation. I did get a quote from them. It will be $2,000 a month, $1,000 for water and $1,000 for wastewater.
That's just signing them documents.
Yes. They
Sounds
will
crazy
come
to
in.
me.
They do travel here twice a week, just to make sure the testing and everything's being done.
Yeah.
When I mentioned to Jake, I wasn't expecting, it to be that much, that originally it was 1,000 to 1,500 was kind of he said, well, they have to carry liability insurance and that, it's very expensive. So, I did not get the feeling there's any room for negotiation. However, on Friday, I did get a resume, from someone that has their, water and wastewater both grade 2. And Jack and I interviewed them today, and
Went well.
went very well, very well. So, after.
So hopefully it's a temporary thing.
Yeah.
So,
My question is how big, well, you probably don't know this, what's the fine if we don't sign it? Is it more than
We have
$2,000
to
a
sign.
month?
We have to sign.
Seriously? I mean,
well, we also had looked at a previous employee and, thought maybe they have, wastewater 1, and thought, well, maybe, get him back on, that he could sign them, and then maybe could just kind of push it out. Well, Manchester said, no, we have other options, and he'd have 60 days to get his wastewater too. So,
I thought it was already re-upped.
for 1,
Uh,
for 1. So, so my thoughts are,
I think I need to start studying it.
I'm thinking I'm gonna roll out of work.
I would like to see us, if we can, try to move a little quickly, in trying to fill the position. We do have we did get 9 applications,
but how many are turnkey?
1.
When would the first time, cause this is 2,000 a month. Is it a weekly, or is it a weekly thing they need to sign?
No,
Monthly?
our guys would be pulling all the tests, doing all the.
Right, it's basically for their signature,
They're overlooking everything inside.
but is it like a once a month deal?
Once a month they sign.
Okay, so we would just hopefully we'll have to do this for 1.
No, because unless you hire somebody that's certified.
Yeah.
So if you hire somebody that's not certified and you give them a 2-year program to get everything done, let's say.
Right, I'm hoping it's just a 1.
And those are things we need to consider, yeah, because obviously there's $48,000, $24,000.
24.
A year, and it's going to take 18 months to 2 years, is what I was told, because you can't just turn right around. You can't just, go take your wastewater 1 and then turn around and go take your wastewater 2. They may give you credit for college, like 6 months, but they expect you to work so long with an operator before you can test.
So if you're in training, can you sign off on it?
No.
No. So we could have been in the same position with
If
our,
Ben, if we'd have had Ben and he was working on getting his wastewater 2, we would have been fine.
okay.
We would have been granted an extension. I believe that's what's going on over in Miles. Their operators going for wastewater 2, so they get an extension, because they are making efforts to make it happen.
So are we trying to hire somebody.
Well, yeah, so,
Effort.
Guess you
Well,
gotta
even
go
if we
play
have
first.
one person that, and not to go down that road, but we have one person that's turnkey, well, on this aspect, but that person does other stuff too. I don't wanna like,
oh, and,
say this is the person just because they have all this
Yeah.
stuff.
And-
There's a lot more to the city of
Completely agree.
Preston job that,
yeah, And
know,
they have
this guy
their-
don't wanna climb down a hole,
Yeah,
we got issues too.
they have their CDL, they do valve replacement, hydrants, I'm trying to think of the list of stuff.
It sounds like it's a good candidate, I just don't wanna,
Run a backhoe, run a dump truck, push snow. I mean, they do all this other stuff, mow
Yeah.
lawn.
yeah, there's other stuff, so.
So this turnkey person also does all that other
So
stuff.
will you, I'm gonna kinda get a little off here, will you interview other, if there's 9 candidates, will you interview another 2 to 4, or?
Unless you tell me I have to.
Why should you look at me?
I think that's kind of up to personnel.
Or if, you know, and I don't know if other, you know, you want a second interview with someone else. I mean, I know Jack took this person around, and showed the water towers and the lagoon. So I'll be talking to Jack in the morning again, to see what.
So what's the next step on that, go to personnel, or how does that?
At this point in time, I would go to personnel. So after this meeting,
Who's on water sewer?
Adam and Rich. So,
I guess I don't really care if you interview anymore, or if you got the right person. The only thing I wanna make sure is any qualifications, them are all up to date, and it's what we need, because we've run into that with them, you know, a past employee before our time, that, oh, they have all this, and then come to find out,
It wasn't.
it wasn't, and there was a lot of misinformation, so that's where I'm at.
and I didn't ask for them to bring their certifications, but I know where they work and who they're working for. And I don't.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that.
I put my life on it.
Yeah,
They have
it's pretty
them.
safe.
Okay.
It's,
Then I have no,
They're, yeah.
I have no issue with it.
Okay.
So,
Question,
yes,
personnel,
yes,
Adam and Rich?
no,
No.
that's sewer. He has sewer. Personnel is, he knows he's on it.
Okay. Trying to make sure he didn't sell out.
He knows,
Who's asking?
he knows.
So wait,
What do you
what's the
think?
next, you guys are just gonna do whatever, or then there'll be a
Well,
recommendation?
what'll happen is, after this meeting, Matt and Rich, and then we'll look at a recommendation, and we'll probably have a special council meeting.
Okay.
Cause we would like to be able, to have this person start August first. If
You
we
better
can,
get going.
and it's like, yeah, chop chop.
Who do you want to do the interview?
Well, let's,
Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit later.
yeah,
What are you guys thinking on the?
after
on
they.
the
have a choice.
I- That's kind of where I'm at too.
Oh, yeah, so we got off track, I was just thinking.
I mean,
Yeah, we're good about, I'm
if,
good about it.
if we can actually, potentially bring the employee on, we're okay. If that's not happening, I've got 2 other names I'm going to call. I just had another guy call me today. I'm gonna see if we can get somebody for less money.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to hold off at least till the next meeting, then we'd see where we're at with the hire part. You'd have more information on, you know, someone else coming down to sign all this stuff. You know, if we wait till,
I guess I don't have a vote. I only have a recommendation, and maybe you could call it even an opinion.
let's hear.
I guess I feel there is nothing lost, with the person with the qualifications we need. And I don't think we're gonna get anything more. I feel like it's a waste of money I mean, if we have to do it, we have to do it, an affidavit operator. But there is no return on our investment there, zero.
I agree.
I would rather bring somebody in and pay them a better, I mean, we knew from the get-go it was gonna cost us a little more money. And if we can get those certifications and get somebody in here and get somebody working with the guys and getting the work done, my recommendation would be we move forward. I mean, the person is not going to take it lightly, changing positions. They're going to wanna come in and do a good job.
So you're saying we can hold off with this affidavit operator for now?
I think so.
Okay.
If we wanna move forward and get somebody, I mean, if this person, for whatever reason, decides not to take the job, then we gotta go down the affidavit operator because our other applicants don't have the certifications.
Understandable.
But
Makes sense.
I think it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I agree too. Well, it looks like we can hold off now, so. If we have to, we have to, if not. All right.
Sounds good.
Rich? You okay with that?
Gotta hold off.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right, we will, we'll wait on that then and see what transpires. 17, other business. Does anybody have anything?
Everybody's heard about the American Rescue Plan. Preston's getting $133,000. I have submitted our asking for that. So that has been submitted. So we'll get, half of that in this year and then half a year later. We do have until 2026 to spend the money. So it's not like we have to commit ourselves yet. So,
That's good to know.
just wanted to let you know, as I keep getting information on it, I will certainly share it with you. Other thing, K&W Tank, has called me, they're over in Miles working on their water tower. I don't know what all they're doing over there, if they're just power washing it inside, painting it. We put it in the budget for them to power wash our water tower.
Okay.
And for $5,800, they would like to come in and do that. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cheap to me.
I wouldn't do it for $5,800.
Yeah, okay, well, I said, I got a council meeting and I'll let you know,
Yeah.
and
Make
What
sure,
about that Mormon kid, don't he?
make sure it's, make sure it's.
I actually, and they can't do it for that,
No.
so.
By all means.
And then, we'll be setting up a meeting with Roger Kilberg, for our utilities and everything that's going in up at the Marvin Edition. Roger usually brings in a couple of extra people. We're probably going to need some help. So we need to discuss, how we're gonna pay, how we're gonna share that cost, so just a heads up on that.
Okay.
Knew that was coming.
Yeah, I think it would, to take advantage of going in the same trench and saving the cost there, I think it's worth it.
Yeah,
It'll pay out in the long run.
Right.
yeah.
Mr. Pearl.
So all my stuff that I have, I did from June 1st to yesterday's date. First one was just your arrests for that time frame. Then you're gonna have the graph of that.
So, question,
Answer.
what's the program we usually, the county uses?
Shield.
So, is everybody actively in the county putting all their information in Shields?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so that's how you're able to pull this, what I
Yeah.
call a county report then?
Yep.
Okay.
So that'll be every single officer that is working in top, you have DNR, so they'll be in there, and sometimes when, ISP will come through, and they'll basically arrest someone and then bring them to our jail, because it happened in Jackson County, they'll show up on there as a ISP 1 or ISP 001.
So that, and it's still work in progress, but the shield
Yeah.
eventually is supposed to like, so Hurdle does a report here in Preston and puts names in suspect or whatever. When I'm working, I can't really read it, I can't change a thing or like get in some stuff, but I know that Hurdle dealt with this guy last week. So it's getting better, so that's kind of where we're at with Shield. Now, Shield does cost money though, and that's
Yeah.
gonna be a cost.
So when I was looking at, budget yesterday, or Friday with Teresa, and it would go into the computer side, and I think ours was 23, I think, something like that. And I don't know how much they're gonna cost us, because we haven't entered anything since 2015, so they gave us an entire year for free. But I don't know what upkeep on that would be, and it does go by the year, so I'll have to find out. I did just get some other permissions on there, and got some stuff fixed for that, so ultimately Preston's crime rate's about to go up.
It's gonna look like Preston's got a high crime rate.
Because of reporting.
Yep, because it's gonna get reported to the state, and
The
that
state
goes to
system.
the FBI for the national crime statistics, so when you're doing like housing development and people go look for houses for sale, some programs like Zillow and Realtor give you crime based off of that geographical area, so based off of this, Preston's gonna be like red, because it's gonna show from 2015 till now, there was nothing, and all of a sudden, there's everything.
Well, the county's gonna run into the same problem.
Yeah.
Cause they didn't report nothing for 50
Yeah.
years, and now
Now, all of a sudden,
with the sheriff in there,
it's reporting things.
they're reporting.
Yeah.
Building this database, is this database then, did we just use it as a county, or if you have a Clinton County, is it more than just Jackson County?
This one is specifically Jackson County.
This is- okay.
Clinton County uses something different, I'm gonna say they use what, Berserker?
Zerker or something.
Yeah, and then Dubuque uses something different, I can't remember the name of the,
Shield's probably a mid-grade,
I would
you
say
know.
Shield is pretty decent.
Yeah.
Especially the mobile version. You can do a lot with the mobile version, you can run license plates, I can check the serial number on a gun, any serial number on anything, and see if it's stolen and, or if it's entered in the national, database for it to be considered stolen, warrants, you can get driver's license pictures on there.
So all these other programs still go to the national database then, though, too, so it's still
Yeah.
all collected in
Yeah,
one
it's
day.
all
Yep.
collected, yeah.
So
It's just a
basically,
different
each
system.
jurisdictional area has a representative, so I'm for Preston, and then I think Bob is for Macokota, and then I think the sheriff's office has Karen Wells.
So it really comes down to, if you don't put the information in there, it's
Yeah.
not worth anything.
Yep.
So we gotta have, and we were on the same project, you gotta put the information. And also, the Shield will actually, you can do all your personnel records in there too, and keep track of all your training. So every officer in Macokota,
Yeah.
we put all their training in there, we scan everything in there, qualifications, it's all in there.
Yep.
So if you need something, you print it out, and it's right there. This
So,
is,
yeah, and I did do all that for us as well, for personnel. There was some issues that I was having, being able to scan stuff to upload in Shield, so I did talk to them and sent them an email, and they just changed all my stuff and then gave me some other, basically folder maps, so I can actually upload everything from here to state. So I can also scan, whatever I print off, I can scan and then put that into the system along with pictures as well, because it wasn't letting me, for whatever reason, I would log on to it, and I would go to an incident report, and it would pull up all of my old stuff from Macokota that I obviously haven't used
it's
since.
programming stuff.
Yeah, so.
So they've been good to work with, and
What's that?
they've been good to work with you, give
Oh,
you
yeah.
what you needed.
Yep, so then I did change all that, so I have all those permissions, and then, like I said, now I can upload stuff to the state, so you'll see a jump and an increase in some stuff.
But this will
assisting other agencies, that also plays a role into how much you're doing as one department, how proactive you're being in helping everything else out with grants as well.
Good. And, our other two communities get this too, that we
Yes.
provide service to?
Yep.
And the response was?
They loved it. Good. Said that they have never gotten that was more detailed before. Then for page 3, it just breaks down how many calls from basically June 1st to July 11th, how many calls per day that each agency is running. So Macokota on a Sunday from that time, every Sunday total has generated 138 calls. And that'll just help you get and judge off of which busy day you have. So for Preston, every Sunday from the 1st till the 11th, at a total of 14. And then it goes all the way down, and it'll give you a grand total of all your calls that you've ran. So 116 for Preston, 115 for Sebula, Macokota is at 1,078, Jackson County 601, and Bellevue 182. But between Bellevue, Jackson County, and Macokota, those are all 24-hour departments. And then you're looking at Sebula and Preston being down to 1 and 2 officers. And Macokota at 11, Jackson County will be at 11 if you're including their part-timer for road, and then Bellevue 5 with 2 reserves. So that'll give you all your numbers there for your calls. And then the next one is just gonna be the comparison from June to July. So we're in, when this was printed, that was the 11th, and we're already almost halfway there to what we were with the entire month of June. And actually, we'll be actually over that because I took 2 other reports that are not going to be included in this yet because I have not physically actually wrote them, which one would be assisting Macokota with a male that had altercation with a female who had a knife, ultimately. So there'd be a report there, and I did just take another harassment over in Miles for an abatement that had came up. And the people whose abatement it was have been writing a whole bunch of letters and stuff, so I'm posting them everywhere. So that's that one in comparison, and also it'll show you which offense it is, and then compared from last month to this month, if there's any that have decreased or increased, or stayed about the same. Then you have incidents by day of the week from the 1st to the 11th, and which day we're looking at for your most busy one. So here we're looking at Sunday, Saturday, and a tie between Thursday and Friday. And at the same time, or the same thing for the next one is going to be busiest time of day, which is going to be between, here is 2 o'clock and midnight. So,
Obviously tells you that's when you gotta have someone on.
yeah.
Or try to.
So the next one's gonna be your incidents by grid. So since Preston covers Spragueville, Miles, and here, if on the way that Shield does their calls, it's gonna show, say there's a call in Spragueville, it's just gonna show Preston PD, just based off of, that's how they enter it in the system. So this one actually breaks it down to each grid that you go to. So obviously there's the one in the Macokota right there for First Ward, which would be just an assist. I think that's when I had that pursuit with that guy when I was coming into here. Then you have rural Preston and how many are there, which anything outside of the city limits of Preston but still have a Preston address would be considered your rural Preston. And then city of Preston, rural Miles, city of Miles, rural Sebula, city of Sebula, and then other outside would be like Clinton County or Carroll County calling in and telling us about something that's happening, and then we go out there. They would basically be the complainant at that point on what's going on and why it would show up as a 99 code for that.
Why do we have, maybe this is a dumb question, why on the Sebula, on the city, we have 6?
I was just gonna ask that
Why
too.
do
assisting other agencies. So if
Because they're
Jackson,
short-staffed.
deputies are so short and they're stretched out, and they've been dealing with some stuff over in Baldwin for thefts. So if Sebula gets into something or the Sebula officer is gone, I'm the next closest one. So they asked me for a 2080 agreement to cover that side.
How many of those 6 was a Sebula officer involved?
I would say 2.
And 2 of us, 4 of them were by ourselves?
Yeah. Waiting for, basically taking the initial report and then giving it off to county. And then vice versa, so if I'm gone here, county comes here and then passes off to us.
That's
I was
probably
just
some of the
surprised.
cops, and it's
I didn't
just-
realize we were going over there that much.
They're not sending you down there for a dog call. They're sending you out because either it's a bar fight or domestic, or
Yeah.
there's something going on.
Okay.
So it's,
And it should be in the bag too, or it might not be. Like, I know one of them was, Driscoll Island, there was parents with kid strapped in stroller, kid fell in water. So I went to that one, and then next one, I left, I was on the way back here, and then had to turn around to go back for a motorcycle accident with guy on the railroad tracks, had crashed his motorcycle and was unresponsive. So then I went back for that one, and then he came too, and then it ended up being like a OWI and a whole bunch of narcotic stuff. And then there was an assault causing injury, that guy ended up running, and then did a search warrant, had him at gunpoint after he pointed a rifle at me. And then, yeah, and then the pursuit that just happened the other day, went over there to assist with that and ended up pulling that guy out at gunpoint because he had a weapon, so.
Yeah, not dog calls.
No doubles.
No.
people think all this stuff happens somewhere else. It's here.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere.
And that started with a casual encounter with Sebula chief pulling up to the guy at the welcome center and asking him if he was okay. And he slammed door, rolled up windows, and just took off. The next one's gonna be just the incident counts from those dates, and it gives you how much you have and what it is. So they're roughly staying about the same. And then these would be incident summary from those times. It just tells you what the offense was, the call for service number and the date that it happened and time, and then who the victim would be and where it was at. And if it's active, unfounded, other, or adult arrested, to close it out. So typically when you have your victim is society, that's when you have like your drugs or some,
Public inside.
yeah, stuff like that.
I'm not looking at this portal. Just let it know.
Okay. You see it on the calls anyway, so
I see it every day.
then you have,
Keep track of it.
yeah. It's gonna be
I never really worried about it.
And you got citations from 6/1 to 7/11, which is 4 warnings, 3 for speed and 1 for unsafe start of a stopped vehicle. And then you have total calls by officer from 6/1/21 to 7/11/21. So I highlighted myself and Thayer. Thayer's at a total of 145, and I'm sitting at 481 when this was printed. And then it breaks that down into what is what. So I have 143 patrols, which would be like your contract patrols going 2 miles, going to Spragueville, and then breaking everything else down. So if you're out, how it says out, that just means that you're not actively patrolling, and like I call out when I'm going to the range, you know, hey, I'll be out at the range, or I'll be out at a council meeting, stuff like that, or out for vehicle maintenance, getting the oil changed at one time. That way they know that if something happens, they can give it or get another officer coming that way, so it's not just, well, I'll get there when I get there now, and so they know. And then the last one is going to be, basically it's a press release for a motor vehicle accident that happened. see the diagram on the last page. Basically just a car was coming out of Ole's. Driver couldn't stop the car due to where he was sitting in the vehicle. And, his knee got stuck and went into the building. And then the narrative for that will also be on the very last page at the very top above the diagram.
Very good.
Yes.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks for the explanations.
Okay,
Perchance, should we put something on Facebook or anything? Seems that there's an alarming increase in trailer theft.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Summertime. And I don't have the,
Just in the last 60 days, it seems like everybody's losing storage trailers, Chanax will tag along, boat trailers.
boat trailers, you know. Yeah, I don't, I'd have to get the login information from there. I don't have it, so
How is Chief there?
just waiting to get back.
okay. Anything else, Rich?
Huh?
Okay.
As far as ammo budget for that, I ended up getting 500 rounds of rifle duty ammo and 500 rounds of target ammo for a rifle. And I think that was a total of $512 out of the 1,000. But it's still at
How
level.
much did that go up, Corey?
A lot. So we still got, I had a total round count wrote down over there in my office, but we still got a decent amount of 40 caliber target ammo, 45 caliber, I bought my own for duty and target, and we just need some shotgun, that's it. Everything else we're good. Maybe some 40 duty, but that'd be the last thing. And then I'm just waiting for Westside to get back from vacation for the car to go over there to get the estimate on that, which will be on the 16th.
Sounds good. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
J.T. Johnson,
Yep.